Hello, everybody. Welcome to Jumping in an Elevator, the podcast where I, Mike, from the most ambitious YouTube channel, Mike's Mike, look into the things that you want to know more about, but you just can't be bothered Googling them yourself, right? It's an efficiency podcast. I'm practically lifestyle productivity. You can categorize these podcasts in so many different things, right? We're efficient because I'm learning, you're learning, we're all learning. It's a great learning opportunity, and this one's free. Hashtag Zoom University, Zoomiversity. I'm a bit frazzled, to be honest, because I was just reading an email from a little old sponsorship opportunity. I'm not going to say who it was, but they said, I have been subscribed to your channel on YouTube and really love your videos on video editing app topics. Miss Ma'am, when and where? Did I ever do that? I don't know. People with the least always doing the most, quote Nicki Say So remix, which I never hear on the radio, which feels like an affront. Anyways, so I think it's been 2 weeks, a fortnight, N-I-G-H-T, N-I-T-E, fortnight. It's been a third-person shooter, MMORPG. No, Fortnite's not an MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. No, that's not that. But Fortnite is MMO, MMA, mixed martial arts. WAP. It freaks me out when Americans say WAP like WAP for like WAP. Because is that not WAP? Anyway, okay, let's focus. Let's get through this episode. Fantastic. Sorry that it's been 2 weeks. So, what happened last week? It was just a really hectic week, I think, for a couple of the things that I do. I don't know. All the days kind of blend into one. I honestly can't tell you if it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks. This is the last episode. But also, I don't think I was feeling good last week. Was I? I feel like the days where I'm feeling good are getting outweighed by the days that I'm not feeling good, which is not fantastic, but, you know, being completely honest, trying to work on that as well. But I'm all good now. It's all jokes. It's all jokes, innit? So what's happening in this episode is, it's episode 10, right? Double digits. We made it to double digits. And I'm wrapping season 1. So if you didn't listen to the last episode of the podcast, I was talking about the idea of wrapping seasons into the podcast. So this is the last episode of season 1, which I'm framing as like the introductory, the exploration phase of the podcast. And then season 2, so today is the 1st of September. I'm thinking season 2 will be the 1st of October. I'm trying to tie it into me getting back to Melbourne and trying to get back into everything, because it feels like I've just been, you know, living out of a suitcase and kind of misplaced, if that makes sense. So it's kind of hard for me to get into a rhythm. But I'm hoping that when I'm back, I can get into a rhythm and just really get stuff sorted. And I think a month will be really good because I need a little bit of time to step back and funnel my thoughts and get some like proper structure into this podcast, because I have big plans for it. I just need to make sure that I execute it a little bit better or a little bit differently. Not saying that it's been bad, but I think I could do it a little bit differently. So keep an eye out for that. Probably the best place to keep track of how the podcast is going is my Instagram and Twitter. So my Instagram is Michael Messinio, and then my Twitter is Mike's Mike YT. I've also been talking to Patreon about setting up a Patreon page. So that will be with season 2 of the podcast. And in my month away, I will be sorting out what the tiers of that will be. So that'll be a fun little thing that we can all have a little bit of fun, a little bit of laughs, you know, a little bit of mutually beneficial content. You can support the podcast and I can give you a little bit of extra content as well. What else is happening? What else have I got on my nice little list here? I've written Taste of Italy. I don't know what that is. I said Patreon, Taste of Italy. So, I mean, if you want to put your own little story in there, it's a little choose your own adventure, what Taste of Italy could be, go ahead and do that. Then I've got to keep forgetting to blink, which, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I've spoken about this before, because in uni, I was so stressed that I conditioned myself to not blink. It was so stupid. Like, I would be reading stuff off a screen for so long that my eyes were continuously moving, so it felt like I was blinking, but I wasn't blinking, so I just wasn't blinking. And then my eyes got really crusty, and I would get migraines from it. So that was a lot of fun, right? And now I'm kind of getting back into that same thing while video editing. I keep forgetting to blink, which is not great. Also, I at uni would take blinking breaks. Like I work and then I just like sit there and manually blink. I blink manual, you blink automatic, we're not the same. What have I been listening to recently? I've been listening to Grimes, as usual, Gorillaz and Spice Girls. The 3 Gs, right? Grimes, Gorillaz, Girls. What else do you need? Then I've been watching Brittany Broski's YouTube channel, Trixie Mattel's YouTube channel, D'Angelo, of course. And then speaking of iconic social media personalities, I kind of screamed the other night because I was on the talk. Tic de la Talk, the tick of the talk of the town, perhaps. And I was just scrolling. And I came across the Twames TikTok and it said, your friend. And I was like, let's take it back. Oh, that's Maneater, right? Yeah, that's the Maneater intro. And it said your friend, which means that they follow you as well. And I was like, what the fuck? How did he find me, right? Such an iconic content creator and follows me on TikTok. What a shocking first impression. God, I hope he knows about my other ones, not just TikTok. Then I was thinking about what if people follow me on TikTok and they only know me from TikTok and they don't know that I do YouTube videos, because I don't really give much away on TikTok. I just do dumb shit. They're probably like, this guy has lost the plot, which is up for debate. What have I been playing? I've been playing Overwatch. That's also not new. I am really bad. I was on a bit of a winning streak trying to get back to gold, and then all just kind of went downhill from there. And I'm in mid-silver for DPS and tank. But I went up 150 points in tank in the last couple of days, so that's good. Season ends in 2 days. I mean, you probably don't even care about that, but I do play a lot of Overwatch. So for today, the questions that I've got are, what are the weirdest celebrity baby names? Why was Facebook so ugly? Maybe that one was submitted by me. Maybe these were all submitted by me because I just want to talk about them. How are sour things sour? How do computers know what the time is? And do dogs have accents? So let's get right into the news. Who says that? Oh no, did I just quote Keemstar? So this website that I found for the weirdest celebrity baby names starts off with very normal celebrity baby names, or as normal as they can get, right? It lists one of the most weird ones as Daisy Dove Bloom, which I don't think is a weird baby name. I think that's such a cute baby name. And Daisy Dove Bloom is one of the freshest celebrity babies. And referring to a baby as fresh is a little bit weird, but it's literally a fresh baby, right? Okay, arguably, yes, it's a fresh baby, okay? Anyway, it's not that much of a weird name. I think it's a superstar name, right? If your name's Daisy Dove Bloom, there's no way that you're not going to be a superstar. Like, imagine going to school with Daisy Dove Bloom and thinking that she's not going to be a star, because you're wrong, she's going to be a star. Then it's got Blue Ivy, which is a cute name, Culture, which is a cute name, then Grimes and Elon Musk's baby's name, which I don't know how this works. I also don't know if they're being serious about that or not. XAA12, I don't know. They can't even seem to agree on how it's pronounced. That's beyond me. Liam Payne and Cheryl named their son Bear Payne. That's kind of cute. Then we have Lucky Blue Smith, and Stormy Bree. Stormy Bree? That's like Stormy from Kylie. Whoa. Lucky Blue Smith and Stormy Bree named their daughter Gravity, with a capital G, not a lowercase g. You know what? I kind of do like that. But then that kind of opens the doors to, if you're going to name your child about some scientific phenomena, then what's stopping someone from naming their child Earth's crust or magma? I mean, having a daughter named Magma, that's kind of sick, right? That's a good dog's name, Magma. Magma and lava. Ooh, let me write that down. Then we've got Alicia Keys naming her children Egypt and Genesis. Okay, we love a little Bible moment. Then we've got Nick Cannon naming his son Golden Cannon. Very interesting. As you can tell, I'm not passing negative comments about people's babies' names because that's a weird thing to do. Oh, here are some good ones. Jason Lee and Beth Riesgraf named their son Pilot Inspector. Think 1, 2, 3, do the Nicki Minaj blink. Pilot Inspector Inspector spelled Inspektor. I mean, pop off, Pilot Inspector. Nicolas Cage and his ex-wife Alice named their baby Kal-El, which is the birth name of Superman. Okay, if you had a lineup of celebrities that could have named their child Kal-El and Nicolas Cage was there, I would probably say it was Nicolas Cage. That seems like a Nicolas Cage thing to do. Penn Jillette. Is that Penn and Teller, the magician? We love that. He has a son named Zoltan and a daughter named Moxie Crime Fighter. Is Crime Fighter her middle name? Crime Fighting's my middle name. Okay, she's born to be a vigilante, 100%. Alicia Silverstone named her son Bear Blue. Bear in the Big Blue House, perhaps? My dog kind of looks like Bear in the Big Blue House. Shannon Sossamon, I don't know who that is, but her first son's name is Audio Science. Not passing judgment. I mean, that's a great name to be sponsored by Audio Technica. So Audio Science, if you're listening to this, you should grow up and do YouTube, and then you can get a sponsorship with Audio Technica. That's just meant to be. If it's meant to be, it'll be. Busy Phillips named her daughter Cricket Pearl. Love that. Okay, I don't know what made me remember this, but I just remember something that... Okay, so... Anyway, I was researching for a different video. I was researching for a Hollywood Fix, old school tabloids, kind of more of an investigation type video. And I was researching early articles about Paris Hilton. And then I found out that she was engaged to this guy named Paris. Is that not the most Paris Hilton thing you've ever heard? Paris Hilton engaged to Paris. Speaking of Paris Hilton, she has a documentary coming out soon, which I'm really excited about, because she came up with this whole image, right, to be a point of conversation, and it was so successful and took off that the concept of the documentary is that people don't know who the real Paris is. And I'm like, it's so true. No one knows who the real Paris is. So I'm really excited about the documentary. Then we've got Rob Morrow, who named his daughter Two, like tomorrow. Sure. Why not? That's fun. Many jokes to be had. Many fun times ahead for Miss Two. Chief Keef, apparently this cannot be real. Chief Keef named his son snowfilmon.com to promote his new album. That can't be real. I'm just going to choose to believe that that's not real. That surely cannot be real. Spike Lee and wife Tonya have a daughter named Satchel. Pop off, Satchel. Much to think about, much to process there. The next question that I had was, why was Facebook so ugly? This is a personal vendetta that I have against Facebook. Do you remember how crusty Facebook was on desktop? And yes, it was an old website, but that site was crusty, dusty, musty for many, many years. I feel like it only recently got redone, and now it looks better. It looks quite nice now. But the old Facebook was so crusty. I'm just imagining all those boxes everywhere. Everything was in a bloody box. Oh gosh, the gradients, the lack of gradients, the scroll bars. Oh Lord, the scroll bars. And for a company that had that much money, it really got me thinking, why is the website so fucking ugly? Right? Especially because I think it was built on this framework that is really customizable and really easy to make look good. So why did they not make it look good? So then I was researching it, and a lot of the answers are people saying, well, it's so popular, so it must be good. Shut the fuck up. Just because something is good or popular doesn't mean it is... Actually, no, I kind of messed up my words there. I meant to say, just because something is popular doesn't mean it's good. Whoa. Right? I kind of spilled there. Just because it's so popular doesn't mean it's good at everything. I guess it's a more accurate description. Facebook was good in terms of how it connected people. The fact that it looked musty to the nth degree was not fantastic. But then another person replied, and they were like, it's because Facebook had to work across a whole bunch of demographics, right? So not everyone would have the most up-to-date computers or whatever. So maybe someone was running Facebook on a really old operating system, or like an old browser version, or Internet Explorer, something like that, you know? So then it had to be bare bones, but functional. So all the functionality was working properly. It just wasn't super beautiful, super cute. But then obviously something must have changed because now it's much better looking. I guess there isn't much else to say about that other than that I really disliked Facebook, and Facebook was the source of all of my unhappiness. And also Facebook now is the source of all my unhappiness because they bought, what's the name of the bloody virtual reality thing? What's it called? Oculus. They bought Oculus, and now if you want to set up your Oculus device, you have to have a Facebook account. Like, why does it have to be so centralized around a Facebook login? Right? I don't like that. I really don't like that. You have to have a Facebook account to set up a VR device. Anyway, so that means they own Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, I think. Does Facebook own WhatsApp? That sounds about right. Oculus, and now whatever the fuck else they're working on. They probably own 50% of my brain space. Mr. Zuckerberg. Next question. How are sour things sour? Let me ask the audience. So, I love sour lollies. You know what? I actually have sour lollies right here. Not sponsored by Sour Patch Kids, but I am going to have one. And it has to be Max Sour. I grew up on Warheads, right? You can't give me some non-Max Sour and expect me to enjoy it. I just realised that I started eating on a podcast, so you're going to have to deal with that. Apologies. Foods taste sour due to the presence of one or more types of organic acids. Acids can be present in a food in 3 ways. Naturally, like mist citrus. Different acidic foods can have different predominant acids. Pop off, right? We love an acid. Name one acid. Mist citrus, right? From fermentation of sugars by bacterial cultures during processing of a food, of a fermented food. Okay, Miss English. During processing of a food of a fermented foods. Pop off. PhD in food science, well, not PhD in grammar. Like yogurt produced from milk by adding yogurt cultures. Lactic acid from lactose. Very interesting. Fermented meat products from producing acids from sugar added. Oh. Sorry? They add sugar to meat? And that makes it fermented? I pretend I did not hear that. Sauerkraut has acetic acid, which is vinegar, and lactic acid produced by bacteria. The bacteria just be living their best life right now, right? Everyone's team bacteria. They're like, give me that kombucha. Give me that yeast. Give me that yeast. Added to a food like mayonnaise. Mayonnaise has acid in it? I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? It's just going to split otherwise. Any acid added to food has to meet the food grade criteria set by the regulatory body. Yeah, look. Great. Among the inorganic acids, hydrochloric acid is permitted as an additive in some special cases as it's produced in our stomach. Oh, hydrochloric acid, that's that bad bitch, right? In uni, we'd have hydrochloric acid, like the weak shit. But then you'd have the really strong shit, and they're like, literally don't even look at this. Don't be in the same building as this hydrochloric acid. Don't even dare being in the same state of Australia as this hydrochloric acid because it will burn you on sight. As it should, honestly. Don't mess with Miss Hydrochloric Acid. And then it says, sour sanding. So sour sanding or sour sugar is a food ingredient that is used to impart a sour flavour made from citric acid or tartaric acid and sugar. And it's used on Lemon Drops and Sour Patch Kids. I mean, are we not all Sour Patch children at the end of the day? Eating sour candies can cause irritation of the tongue because of the acid effect. Well, you know what? Life causes irritation of my brain, and the Sour Patch children help with that. It can also cause irreversible dental erosion. That is not ideal. Irreversible dental erosion. I mean, can we not just make it reversible? I want to go back. Take me back, take me back. I also popped open a website called Taste of Home, and it says 10 of the tartest foods on the planet. And I was expecting like the tartest foods on the planet, and then Miss Ma'am has just given me kimchi. Like, kimchi is tart, but is it the tartest food on the planet? And it's like warheads, then kimchi, then mustard greens, and guava. Like, is that how low the bar is for tartness? Horseradish pickles? Rhubarb? Miss Rhubarb. One of the tartest in the world? Do you mean that because you can make a mean, rhubarb tart? I love a rhubarb tart. I don't know if that means she's the tartest. It's a sour candy. Then we have, how do computers know what the time is? Okay, so you know when you're typing away, you're like, beep, 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 beep. Ooh, call me, beep me, writing up my resume. That couldn't be me right now. No way, it couldn't be me. Absolutely not me. If you shut your computer and you walk away, then I've completely lost my train of thought because I was thinking about Getaway with Katrina Roundtree and how someone at my high school thought Katrina Roundtree was hot. And Katrina Roundtree was like, she had to have been 50 at the time. And we were like 16, 17. I remember he said that and I was like, I don't know what to do with this information, so I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear it. Which, now that I think about it, is a coping mechanism that I use regularly, right? If I don't want to hear it, I pretend that I didn't hear it, and then thus ignorance is bliss, right? Sometimes it's good to just switch off for the day, clock off, if you will. What was I talking about? Okay, I'm back in my train of thought. So if you shut your computer and you walk off, it hasn't turned off. But then if you turn off your computer and walk away, she's off, she's done, she's tight, suck at life, you're on around 3, you done suffered twice, right? How does it still know what the time is? It's not on. How can it possibly know what the time is? You open that laptop and it's got the exact right time when it boots up, even if it's not connected to the internet. If it's connected to the internet, it makes sense because it's probably contacting some server to work out what the time is, which I've got a little answer about that as well. But it turns out that computers have a low-powered internal clock that runs when the machine is powered off. So even though it's off, there's an internal clock that runs, and it's called a CMOS clock, which I know what that stands for because I did it in one of my units at university. I just can't remember what it is. Oh, God. That sounds like something to do with semiconductors or transducers or something. I don't know. It uses the same amount of power as a wristwatch and stores that in a low-power memory chip and updates your machine when it powers back on. Then when your computer gets the actual time from a server or from some other command, it updates the CMOS chip so that it can remember the current time the next time it's turned off. Pop off computers, right? Computers kind of won. Computers outstreamed. Computers debuted on the Billboard 200 top 10, and then their next album was top 5, right? They haven't released their third album yet, but they're building up to it. The AI album, very exciting. Everyone's very excited about that. The girls are having watch parties. Their number one single is CMOS Clock because it just charts, right? She's doing work when she's not even doing work. She's switched off when she's doing work. Imagine if you could do work while you were sleeping. Wouldn't that just be the most ideal thing in the world? It'd be so efficient. I'd be getting so much done. I could do a podcast every day, right? And then according to Stack Exchange, it says computers have a real-time clock, a special hardware device containing a quartz crystal on the motherboard that maintains the time. Yeah, lit. The motherboard has a small battery that is used to power the clock device even when you disconnect the computer from the power. The battery doesn't last forever, but it will last at least a few weeks. Give me that battery from my phone, right? Let me run that Instagram for multiple days on end. If you take out the clock battery in addition to removing the main battery and disconnecting the power cable, then the computer will lose track of time and will ask you to enter the time and date when you restart the computer. Yeah, pop off. So when you connect the computer to the internet, it contacts a server to get the actual correct time, which is why your phone... Actually, that's another one, because your phone I should have Googled this before. But your phone, if you are on a plane and you change time zones, but you're still in airplane mode, does your phone update to the new time? I think it does, but I'm not sure. Because I remember flying to Japan and having the time when I left and then looking at my phone when I landed, and I definitely had not turned on my data because I didn't have data in Japan. And it had updated. I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi. Very interesting. Maybe it's got something to do with GPS, because you can use GPS without using mobile data. Different towers love different towers, different frequencies, as we know, because we talked about that in episode 2 or 3 or something of the podcast, right? And that's on knowledge. Fantastic. Sorry, that's the Sour Patch Child coming back up. I started wearing a chain, by the way. I feel very Italian because I'm wearing my chain from my baptism or something, I don't know. So that will be a regular occurrence. The next question is a personal favourite of mine. Do dogs have accents? And the answer is yes and no. The answer is yes, because dogs kind of just pick up the accents of their owners. And then there was some investigation done in the UK where they got dogs from different regions and they apparently had different accents in their bark or something like that, which is super cute. But then also, dogs don't really understand language. They can understand multiple languages, but that's not because they understand the language, right? If I told my dog, sit, she's like, okay, easy shit, give me something challenging. But if I was like, and that meant sit down, she'd sit down every time I went, skrr, right? That's not because she understands that skrr is a thing. She just knows that it means sit, because she's associated those two things together. I guess they're more responsive to, they're visual learners, right? Why am I a dog? Because I'm a visual learner. I said, let me write up that equation in the chart and memorize it like that. Memory palace things. That's how I remembered a whole bunch of shit at uni. Memory palace. You just store it. And then you like do through the palace and find shit. It sounds like a fun little Neopets game. Can dogs recognize different spoken languages? No, because they learn visually. When we command, dogs are responding to sounds and also to emotional tones. If you call a dog bad dog but make it sound warm and affectionate, your dog will hear it as a praise. An amusing example, a friend of mine taught her dog to sit using the phrase coffin lids. Now, why would you do that? Okay. Dogs can, of course, be trained to respond to clicks, whistles, hand signals. To dogs, words are no different. Very interesting. And then this brought me to the next thing that I was interested in, and that is, can dogs perceive time, or how do dogs perceive time? And there's the whole thing about 1 human year being 7 dog years, but then that is just comparing the lifespan. It's not actually looking into how dogs experience time. But there's a lot of I did some reading on this, and there's a lot of comparisons between dogs and small children in terms of development. It seems like they can't really understand the concept of time. Their brain does not allow them to understand that. And one of the things that they're talking about is they don't have memories, or their memories are very different to how we think of memories. For example, if I ask my dog to sit, she knows what sitting is, but she can't remember when she learned how to sit. So she doesn't have episodic memory, if that makes sense. That's what I picked up from this article on How Stuff Works, which I've used before, but we're on animals.howstuffworks. I hope How Stuff Works gets their coin, because they give me so much value, right? My QOL, quality of life, just improves so rapidly when I go on howstuffworks.com. This episode is not sponsored by howstuffworks.com, but like it could be, honestly. Maybe we'll get some sponsors in the next season of the podcast. I don't know, honestly. What else have we got here? Researchers have discovered from experiments on pigeons that an internal clock allowed them to learn when and where food would be available. Dogs might use circadian oscillators, daily fluctuations of hormones, body temperature, and neural activity to know when food is likely to hit the bowl or when owners are likely to return from work. Instead of remembering how much time passes between meals or what time meals are given, dogs react to a biological state that they reach at a particular time of day. And they react the same way at the same time every day to this stimulus. Okay, skinny legends. Little smart queens. I know dogs, like, they know something, right? Animals know something. I feel like they're enjoying life as it is. So they're like, we don't need to use that other 99% of our brain, but if we had to, we would, and then there'd be trouble. I knew you were trouble when you barked at me. Scientists have tested animals' working memory, short-term memory, and reference memories to see how well the animals could recall sequence of events. In working memory tests, pigeons and primates must remember a sequence well enough to peck or pick it in the right order again to get a reward. Wait, you telling me pigeons are smart? I'm getting PTSD from the pigeon dating simulator. Pigeon traumatic stress disorder. That was terrible. The animals did fairly well at these, but the memory faded fast. Roberts thinks that they were probably learning, going from weakest memory to strongest memory rather than actually learning or remembering. Okay, so they're just recalling things? Total recall. So that was interesting. How great are dogs? I definitely want to do more content about dogs. My dog just refuses to be on camera, which is fine, you know. She's a diva. I'm a diva. What's that? No, that's not how it goes. I'm a diva. I'm a diva. Yeah, Beyonce song. Pop off Beyonce. I still haven't seen Black is King. I need to do that. Do you need a subscription for something to watch that? Probably. Is it on Tidal? Ugh. Can we just let Tidal die? Ugh. Who even uses Tidal? Anyway, I guess that brings me to the end of this episode and the soft end to the season. Again, it's just really taking 4 weeks off and then coming back for episode 11, which is season 2, episode 1, but it'll be episode 11. Yeah, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep up to date with things happening with the podcast and normal YouTube channel stuff. And yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. As usual, feel free to fire some questions at me in the comments and maybe I'll pick them up for the next episode. If you are listening to this, feel free to give a review on whatever you're listening to it on. I just kicked the camera by accident. Whoopsies, love. Whoopsies. And if you're watching this, feel free to like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you all in about a month. Peace out. Bye.